Manchester United is taking on Fulham tomorrow at Craven Cottage, and it's going to be the last game, and almost 8 games have been played today, so the remaining 2 games are really going to be played tomorrow at the Craven Cottage, and that is the game we're really talking about today, Fulham versus Manchester United. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to go into the right bottom corner and smash the subscription button. After smashing it, hit the notification bell that enable you get notified each and every time I put a video onto this channel. Now, today is really one of those days that is so busy down in my country, but I've happened to come out and really let you know what the game of football is all about. Man City has been beaten by Brentford 2-0, and this same City side narrowly escaped from losing to Fulham at Etihad last weekend when they really beat them by 2-1, courtesy of that late penalty that was taken by Erling Haaland to make it 2-1. Remember, Man City played close to 60 minutes when they are a man down, and Fulham had gone ahead to really cause a lot of havoc to Man City. But Man City this time around have been beaten. That shows you how good Fulham is, because they had really gotten a result from Etihad, but Haaland came in through and really gave them the well-deserved win that really put them at 32 points. Now, Manchester United, their previous game, we are beaten by Aston Villa 3-1. That was away, and we are going to play another away game in the Premier League. But in the midweek, we played in the Carabao Cup and knocked out Aston Villa by 4-2, and we believe that Erik ten Hag is really so much in the know of a team which goes by the name of Fulham. Fulham has some bad news. Mitrovic has been totally ruled out, and obviously he is their talisman. He has scored very many goals this season, so much a threat in the air, but he's not going to be one of those players to go on and face Lisandro Martinez or Lindelof or Harry Maguire in our central defense tomorrow when we are playing Fulham. So it shows you that Fulham is really one of those teams that is really deadly at home. When you look at the games they've been playing at home, their last game they played at home, they drew 0-0 with Everton. They beat Aston Villa 3-0. They drew with Bournemouth 2-2. They are beaten by Newcastle 4-1. Which other home game they really played? They beat Brighton 2-1. At home they beat Brentford 3-2. They drew with Liverpool. So it shows you that at their home, have they lost a game this season? Let me see. At home, have they lost a game this? Yeah, they lost to Newcastle 4-1, and obviously they've not yet lost any other game at home. The rest of the games at home, they've been winning them. Remember, they opened up this season by drawing with Liverpool at Craven Cottage by 2-2. Remember that Virgo Mitrovic scoring a brace. Salah and Darwin Núñez were on the score sheet too. So that shows you how hard this game is going to be. It's not an easy game, as most of the United fans would think. It's not an easy one. It's really going to be a hard one, but I believe the players that Ten Hag is going to flaunt into this team are really going to go ahead and really get United a result of 3 points. Remember, we last lost 2 games consecutively in the Premier League at the beginning of the league. We lost to Brighton by 2-1 and Brentford 4-0. Every time we go on and really lose, we happen to go on and really go on a good run. Remember, when we lost against Brentford and Brighton, we went ahead to beat Liverpool, we beat Arsenal, we beat Southampton, and we beat Leicester City. After that, we went ahead to lose to Man City 6-3. Then we went ahead to beat Everton 2-1. We drew with Newcastle 2-2. We beat Spurs 2-0. We drew with Chelsea 1-1. We beat West Ham 1-0, and we are beaten by Aston Villa on the weekend. Meaning that we always tend to go on and react very well every time we go ahead and really lose a game of football. So I believe Erik ten Hag and his army are really going to go on at the Craven Cottage when they're really knowing what is so much required to go on and play this game of football. But at Manchester United, the following players shouldn't be expected. Rafael Varane is totally out. Ronaldo has not been seen at the training ground of Carrington today, meaning that he's really going to be out. He never played the game of Aston Villa in the midweek in the Carabao Cup, reason being that he was ill. But I believe he was preserving himself to go on and really prepare for the World Cup with Portugal, because he knows that the return of Anton Martial almost puts him back onto the bench, and he can't stand that humiliation. And maybe he played the last game for Manchester United against Aston Villa, where we lost 3-1 at Villa Park. So The other player that is out, Rafael Varane. The other one that you don't expect to see, Sancho and Anthony, are really doubtful. Those are the players that you expect not to see because they are somehow injured or ill. The other player that is suspended is Diego Dallo, and we are going to be having a new right back to play into the right back position against Fulham. And after, let me take you through what we call this predicted lineup and who do we think is going to start into the starting 11 of Manchester United. Now, when you look at United, we are going to play a system as usual. It's a 4-2-3-1, very much known. That system is really known by Erik ten Hag. It has been played by most of the people, and obviously ten Hag is really one of those that has really gone ahead to master the art or the craft of really doing this. So that is the system that we're going to play. 4 defenders, a double pivot, 3 attacking midfielders, and 1 centre forward, obviously, who is going to be Anton Martial or Rashford. One of those will start. So in goal, it's obviously David De Gea returning in goal. Remember, in the midweek, it was a player who goes by the names of Dubravka, who made his debut for Manchester United. He has been always on the bench ever since he came in at Manchester United, but this time around, he got his chance to go on and play here in the game of football and really played very, very well. After that, after Dubravka coming out for David De Gea, obviously, I believe David De Gea is going to come out and really do the needful in this game of football and really save us. And obviously, his body distribution is improving. Not in the World Cup, I believe he's really steady. His mind is really focused on this game totally, as he is not into the 26-man squad that the Spanish manager really selected to go to the World Cup of Qatar. After that, we go to the right back position. With Dallo suspended after accumulating 5 yellow cards, you expect the following players to be in the picking quotation. 1, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, to me, is totally out, because if at all he was going to be played as a right back, would have made it to the squad, but he never even made it to the squad of 20 people that really played the game of Aston Villa. If at all he was on the bench, I would have even insinuated that maybe he was going to be brought on to do the needful, but obviously he was not on the bench, and obviously I don't believe he's going to be played. But Brandon Williams, nowhere near the picking order of Erik ten Hag, and we are left with 2 players, that is Victor Lindelof and Tyrell Malacia, to be played as an inverted right back. But you look at this game and ask yourself, what is the best for United? I think he's going to go with this man as a right back, Victor Lindelof. He tried him as a right back against Real Sociedad, though they used his position as an avenue to go on and really hurt us, because even the goal that we conceded against them came from that side, and very many attacks were launched from that side, because he's slow, obviously, but I believe it's really going to be a different game of football together, whereby we are now having Casemiro into the central defensive midfield area, where he's really going to come on and really go on and really patrol that area, and maybe the likes of Bruno or Anthony Elanga that are going to play as the right attacking midfielder will go on and really give him extra support, because he needs it in there, because he's going to be facing, I think, Willian. Not so, he's going to be facing Willian. So I believe Lindelof is going to play as a right back for United. Defensively, I believe he's not suspect, but going forward is also good, and let's wait and see what he can offer to Manchester United when he's playing as a right back. And if at all he goes ahead and masters the craft of playing as a right back, maybe United will go on and really use him as they really wait for the January transfer window to bring in another right back to act as a backup for Diego Dallo. Let's go to the left back. Tyrell Malacia played 90 minutes against Aston Villa. Luke Shaw was really reserved and unused, so that means Luke Shaw returns in the left back position for Manchester United to come on and play there. But obviously, Tyrell Malacia put in a very beautiful game, and I won't be shocked if at all Erik ten Hag really names Tyrell Malacia to go on and start in this game of football, either as a left back or an inverted right back. So because he really put in a very good performance at what we call the game of football when we beat Aston Villa by 4-2. He even contributed in one of the goals, and in the first half he almost created 2 goals, though resulted into corners because they were saved by the goalkeeper of Aston Villa, who goes by names of Olsen. So I believe Luke Shaw is returning into that position, and obviously for the central defenders, it's undoubted, because with absentia of Rafael Varane, you expect Harry Maguire to come in through, and obviously Lisandro Martinez to play on the left side of the on the left side of the central defense. Harry Maguire playing on the right side of the central defense, meaning that that's how it's going to be. Amid these rumors coming out from Jamie Jackson, a correspondent of Manchester United at The Observer and The Guardian, that Erik ten Hag wants to sell Harry Maguire and to use the money he's going to get from the selling of Harry Maguire to go on and really strengthen his squad. But he's still one of the available centre-backs that the manager is really having. And I believe if at all he still had a player, if at all he had Tuanzebe fully fit, I believe he would have gone in for Tuanzebe to either play as a right back or a central defender, and Harry Maguire would have been knocked out. Reason being, all of the games when there is a third option to bring in, obviously Harry Maguire is thrown onto the bench, and either Varane starts alongside Lisandro Martinez or alongside Victor Lindelof, meaning that Ten Hag is not so much is not so much confident of Harry Maguire. We go to the double midfield pivot. Scott McTominay and Freddie started, and the game of football was not all that flowing very well until Eriksen came on the field of play. Now I believe the double pivot of Eriksen and Casemiro is really going to come back to play a very huge role in that game of Fulham, because when they came on, it really looked great, and this is how much we are far off from really having the right players to go on and really do the backup job of Casemiro and Eriksen. Because when one of those is out, obviously you see a very big gap in between those that have started and this double pivot. So I believe this double pivot is really going to be so much important for us in the game at Craven Cottage. Let's go to the most contentious position, guys. I believe most of you are not going to agree with me, but I believe Danny Van Beek is starting his 4th game consecutively. That's it. If you heard what the manager said in the press conference ahead of this game of Fulham, he said that Danny Van Beek runs in better positions, good positions, his movement is great, but the players don't give him the ball. And he has been unlucky that most of the games he has started, we've been playing badly and we've not been able to come on and really win. In the game he started against Aston Villa at Old Trafford, he was not given the right double pivot. He had Freddie and Scott McTominay who couldn't pass that ball to him. Now tomorrow, I know he's going to start, and the reason that's why he's going to start because Anthony is doubtful and Sancho is doubtful. What does that mean? It means that Bruno Fernandes is going to come on and really play for starters as a right winger or a right attack midfielder. And obviously, the manager might go on and really change as he did in the game of Aston Villa if things don't go there, if things don't go where he wants, and then he turns Bruno into a central attack midfielder and takes off Danny Van Beek to bring on Anthony Elanga into this beautiful game of football that we need to win. So I believe Anthony Elanga is not going to start according to me, because when he started against Aston Villa, he was really weak. And I believe Bruno is going to start in that position. And maybe later, the manager might bring in Anthony Elanga to come on and really get the job done. Now, the left attacking midfield position. One will ask himself, if you are Erik ten Hag, what would you go for? It's written all over the wall that Garnacho really played very well, excited very many people. And obviously, he created a goal. He created 2 goals. But in a game of such a magnitude, do you start him or you bring him on? I believe it's better to get him on the bench, especially if things are not going our way. One, he's good on the ball. He risks himself. He commits himself, takes that ball, and he commits himself a lot into the final third of the opponent. And this decision making is really good. He doesn't make extra touches that really lead to us losing position, and his fighting spirit is really unquestioned. So I believe Garnacho deserves to go on the bench because he's 18, he needs to be managed very well. That's why you saw to it that the game of Aston Villa, when he started, he never really looked great and the manager really took him off. So I believe Marcus Rashford, who scored a goal against Aston Villa, is going to start off the left attacking side of the midfield, and with the absence of Ronaldo and the return of Anton Martial, who even scored a goal against Aston Villa, he's really going to lead the line for Manchester United. So that is my predicted starting 11 for Manchester United. I believe that's how it's really going to stand, unless otherwise Sancho or Anthony registers that he's 100% fit or registers to be fit for this game, then that's how things are really going to go on and really change. But if at all it doesn't happen that way, I think it's going to be that side. So that is my predicted starting 11 of United versus Fulham, and I believe Erik ten Hag is going to go on and really bring in a lineup like this. But the most important bit of this game is we are having 23 points. We are having 23 points. Not so? United is having 23 points. And obviously, Man City have lost a game today. If we win, we will be at 26 points. At 26 points, at 26 points, you expect United to be 6 points behind Man City. I think that won't be bad for us as we go into the World Cup break. And that's why we need to go on and re-register a win against this side of Fulham tomorrow. It's not going to be an easy game. They're having the likes of Andreas Pereira, former at Manchester United, one of the players I really rated highly, but obviously because of the managers like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who couldn't come out and really get them to the levels expect them to be, these players went ahead to really lose it out every time they really try to go on and really play. That's why you saw to it that each and every time he was loaned, he was playing better. At Valencia, he played a very good season. Then he was brought back at Manchester United, and then he had a bad spell under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then he was loaned back in Brazil, where Marco Silva noticed him and really brought him. Willian is another player that you must look at in this game of Fulham because he's really a deadly player who goes ahead and really plays better, and ever since he returned back to the Premier League, he's really playing a better and better game. The other player that we must look at and really worry about is is it Filfina or Palfina? Palfina, the Portuguese who plays in a double pivot of West Ham. That guy is really great. He's really good at being press resistant. He releases and connects the midfield to the attack a lot. That's what we should go on and really worry about him because he's really a guy of the season. So as things stand, everything is really not going to fail United, but I believe you're going to be having a better game. More than that, we had against Aston Villa away when we lost 3-1. Reason being the players were tired. You saw how Eriksson played when he came on in the game of Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. He was really rested and really played very well. Fatigue was not part of him anymore, as it was on the game of Real Sociedad and Aston Villa. So I believe the likes of Casemiro were rested. They came on and played were they 3-4 minutes. Then Lisandro Martinez played just 10 minutes. He's coming back to play. And obviously do a very important part of this game of football because the players we rested were David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, Casemiro, Eriksson. I think we rested close to 5 players. Not so. I think resting close to 5 players, whereby most of them are midfielders, especially that play in a double pivot. It's really a very good position for us to come on and rest in this game of football. So thank you very much for watching in. That has been my game match reaction as far as United is concerned versus Fulham. But my prediction, I think we are winning 2-1. We are winning 2-1 away, and I think we'll go on to the World Cup break when we are really having a good win that can come on and really give us a spark and a lot of hope when we host Nottingham in the Premier League on the 27th of December. But remember, 3 days after the World Cup on the 21st, I think we'll be playing in the 4th round of the Championship, and that will be Burnley at Old Trafford. So it shows you that there is a very huge time ahead of us to go on and really see what is really going to happen. But obviously, we hand it in the names of the Lord and see whether Ten Hag can go on and really take us to the promised land. Because what he's doing right now at Old Trafford, it's really great, and he's taking us to the promised land. And I believe he's the right man for the job. Not so? What are your thoughts on Erik Ten Hag being the right man for the job? Your predictions are welcome in the comment section below. I believe you're winning this game by 2-1 because we've not been losing 2 games constantly. After losing against Man City, we went 5 games unbeaten. Now, we lost against Aston Villa. I believe we are going to go a number of games unbeaten. Not so? That's what I'm really believing on this channel, which goes by names of United Matters channel. So guys, thank you very much for watching in. I've given you the predicted lineup. I expect De Gea in goal, Lindelof as the right back, Lindelof as the right back, Luke Shaw as the left back, Lisandro Martinez on the left side of the central defense, Harry Maguire on the right side of the central defense, Casemiro and Eriksson return into the double pivot of Manchester United to go on and be rejuvenated to where it's supposed to be. Donny van Beek, I expect him to play as a central attack midfielder, and Bruno Fernandes as a right attack midfielder. Rashford, left attack midfielder, and Antoine Martial will be leading the line for United tomorrow. Reason being, even if Ronaldo was here, the managers went ahead to tell us the qualities that Martial holds that Ronaldo doesn't hold. So that's it for now. I believe this is the first video of the day. More is yet to come, and we are coming up with more transfer news coming in from the desk of Manchester United, and obviously loads of other news around the United players going to the World Cup. But the World Cup effect, I pray, does not affect us, because most players, I've seen them play against the players of Man City play today. They really looked like their minds were not here. They are already in Qatar, and I don't want that to affect us, because we are having very many players that are going to play in the World Cup. Maguire will play, Lisandro Martinez will play, Luke Shaw will play, Casemiro will play, Eriksson will play, Bruno Fernandes will play, Rashford will play. Close to 7 players that I believe are going to start tomorrow are going to play a very pivotal role into their national team effort. That's it. So, sign out for now. I hand you over to the Almighty Lord to watch over you abundantly.